Hi and welcome to another tutorial. This one's going to be using this sketch on the right hand side. It has two embellishments, a little bit of ribbon and some pattern paper. And I'm gathering a bunch of my supplies here to show you. The things I'm going to use for the whole bunch of cards I'll be showing you today. This is the tonic paper cutter that I absolutely love. It's a guillotine style. It stays very sharp. I gathered my heart punches and some papers that will go with them, and my star punch and some papers, and then also these metal adhesive stars. They're $1 at Joann's, nice and cheap and great little embellishments. And then we're going to do some butterfly cards that are going to be kind of vintage. The sketch requires just a little bit of ribbon, so I'm using my ribbon scraps from my jar. And then this is cardstock. Some of you have been asking about it. I use all different colors, but you can cut a piece of 8.5 11 cardstock in half and then fold that in half. Works out perfect for cards. Now this is the Tombow runner that you've been asking about. I've disassembled one of them to replace the inside with a new cartridge and showing you how to do that. It's very, very simple. Snaps together and voila. Now we're going to get started with this star card first. I'm going to show you a little treat. Distressing the edges of something with a piece of sandpaper. So I'm just rubbing on it. It's not really fancy. It's not an advanced technique at all, but it just adds a little bit of something to the card. And since the cardstock I'm using is navy blue, it's kind of nice to have a little bit of a white outline around it so the paper shows up against the navy blue. And also, since it is navy blue paper, I'm putting a white liner later on the inside of it. There's the distressing, you can see that. So the white liner will make it so that someone can write on the inside of the card. So I'm putting my adhesive on it. Going to adhere it to the card. Measurements for all these papers, by the way, will be on the blog, so you'll be able to check those out. So then I have my other little papers already cut. The smaller one is longer than the fatter one, and I will show you why that is as soon as I get done assembling this part. We're going to stick it on so that the edges are about even. And that was my email going bing. And so I adhere that down, and then I'm just going to snip off the edge. It's a lot easier than trying to make my measurements perfect, so I just let a little piece hang off the edge there. Now in order to adhere the ribbon, I'm going to show you a little secret. Put a little bit of adhesive on the back, and then when you go to tie it, it's a whole lot easier. Well, if you leave yourself enough room to tie the ribbon, it'll be a whole lot easier for the ribbon to stay in place while you're doing your tying. So I saved you watching me tie it, but now we're going to put more adhesive on the back of that so that we can adhere it to the card. Dum 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 dum. And press it down really good. The adhesive holds really well. Now we're going to punch the stars. I always punch upside down if I can so that I can see where I'm lining up the paper and the punch. And I'm going to do a red and a blue one on this card. And I'm putting a little bit of dimensional adhesive on the back of both of these stars. It's sticky back on both sides. And peel off the backing. And then we will stick it on the card. You can kind of kitty-wampus them a little bit, or you can, make them all straight. It's kind of up to you and your eye for design. Now I'm taking these adhesive back stars, remember that whole pack was $1 at Joann's, and just sticking them on randomly to add a little sparkle to it. And now I want to add my sentiment, so I have a piece of paper that I have cut that will fit my sentiment. So I stamp it on there. I'm using my favorite VersaFine ink. Punched a hole in it, and I'm adding a little brad, just for fun, a little star brad. Also got that at Joann's. And then to fancy up the end a little bit, I'm going to make it more of a tag end rather than a straight end. So I'm just going to cut off the corners a tiny bit and give it a little different shape and adhere it onto the front of the card. And there you have it, a couple of cards finished. And then I also did some in yellow, just so you can see that you can do the same thing in a whole different way with the same sketch. So now we're going to try the same sketch with hearts instead this time. I'm going to save you the labor of watching me adhere the papers on and cut everything and tie ribbons. I'm going to adhere one of the hearts with the Tombow runner, and the other heart I'm going to put a little dimensional adhesive on, and that will create different layers on the card, which just adds a little extra interest to it. You could do them all flat, you could do them all popped with the dimensional adhesive. It's kind of up to you and your idea of what you want your card to look like. So I'm punching the little tiny hearts, which my cat absolutely loves to chase when I start punching these little hearts. She just thinks they are a blast. I'm going to adhere these with quick dry adhesive. I don't typically like using wet adhesives on cards, but for this particular use, the Tombow runner and any other dry adhesive that I know of is a little bit too wide for these little teeny tiny hearts. So I'm just painting little V's on there so that I can stick my little hearts on. And then my sentiment, I am using adhesive backed letters, so I'm picking them up with a paper piercer and sticking them on a piece of pre-cut red paper. Now some people go to all sorts of lengths to make sure it's straight. I am not that picky. I use the excuse that it's handmade and it looks handmade when there's something crooked on it, so I give myself that permission to make crooked things. So here's the finished card. Very pretty. I thought it came out really nicely. And here's some other versions with different kinds of pattern papers. A single heart with a bunch of little hearts, 2 hearts, nothing popped on this one, and no sentiment. So you don't always have to use a sentiment either. And this one is really simple and elegant, I think. I didn't use any background paper, and I just put the sentiment straight onto the card itself. Now here's the really fun one. I'm going to zip through the early parts of assembly of the card, stamping the sentiment because I want to get right to the butterflies. The butterflies you're going to just ooh and ah over and be very excited, but they're very easy to do, so don't get discouraged. They're really not that hard. If you have a beautiful butterfly punch like this one, it is very, very easy. Now this paper has 2 sides to it, so I'm punching 4 butterflies out of it because I want a couple layers to my butterflies so they can really flutter off that page. So I'm punching 4 of them. I have 2 facing up with one pattern, 2 facing up with the other. And then I'm going to cut 2 tiny slivers of the dimensional adhesive first. Very thin ones so that it doesn't show through on the front and get stuck to anything on the other side. And I'm going to put one on one pattern and one on the other pattern. And I'll peel off the backing and stick those directly onto the card. So they're already starting with some dimensions since they're on that kind of adhesive. But we're going to add something to that and make them even more special. So you just wait and see. I'm so excited. I even zoomed in to show you this. Putting a little bit of the wet adhesive again in the center because I just wanted a tiny bit of it on the body and on the antenna. And now I'm going to take each of the other butterflies and bend them a little bit so they're tipped up a little, and then we're going to adhere them to the opposite pattern that you've already adhered to the card. So fold that one again in half, just a little bit, and stick it on there. And when that dries, oh my goodness gracious, that is going to be such a fun card. And that adhesive holds really well. Elmer's may not, but this Scotch adhesive holds really nicely. So there's the finished cards and the finished beautiful butterflies. I just think they came out so gorgeous. And some more butterflies using blue papers, so you can use all different kinds of combinations to do any of these cards. And I hope you are able to create some beauties with these and enjoy yourselves as you're making cards. Here's a whole bunch of my addresses. Please feel free to follow me on Twitter. Check out my blog. I'm going to put the measurements for these cards both on my personal blog that's shown here and on the Card Making Tips blog on Cards for Heroes. So thanks for watching and have a great day. See you next time.